G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is AKs and AR15s Fallout 4 edition. This is a weapon mod which contains many variants of Kalashnikov rifles and many variants of Armalite rifles as a standalone form, all injected onto the leveled list, so it allows for lots of weapon variety, if you can call it that, with not much customization. Where other AK mods have lopped them all together, where you can customize the barrel and receiver and stocks to pretty much fit any AK that you see here. Instead, this weapon mods adds a bunch of different weapons to their own separate form. So this PSL I can't turn into an SVD. This RPK I can't shorten the barrel and change the stock to make it an AK-74U, for example. It's its own entity, and it means that the customization on these weapons isn't all that in depth. There's enough to get by, but this is more of a quantity over quality in terms of the amount of weapons you get and the amount of customization these weapons have. So if you're really a fan of customizing your weapons to fit your needs, then there's other weapon mods out there. But if you want to dump a whole bunch of AKs into your game and have it sort of more immersive, or you could argue more realistic, then this is definitely a mod to download. So we'll go over what modifications we can do to this. We'll try to make it quick because most of this is pretty samey. This first one is an AK-47, specifically it's a Type 3, which was developed around the year 1955, but this is basically the OG, the one that started it all. Iconic weapon, both in movies and, I suppose, in real life events. Customization is as follows: you can't do anything with the receivers. You can change the barrel to a Type 56 barrel, which just adds a bayonet mount. The Type 56 will come up a little bit later, but that one is the Chinese variant of the AK-47. You can change this to a Type 56 stock as well, and the magazines you'll find are able to be modified. So you can chuck on drum magazines into this. For a weight penalty, you get a whole lot more ammunition capacity. There's really no reason not to do that. No options for optics, but if you add on a side rail, which comes in a few different variants, using that side rail, you can equip optics, including scopes, this one and the PSO, and this Cobra reflex sight. Gives you a little bit of a tiny chevron in the center of that. So yeah, that's your reflex sight variant, and that's the only thing you'll get. You'll see it, you know, because the communists, they didn't have modular customization in mind. You got to add these weird AK mounts to your rifles every time you got to do that. So yeah, if you don't like the look of that thing, then you can just use standard iron sights. But there you go. There's now optics on this thing, and there's an option for a suppressor on the muzzle, so that's cool. No options for compensators or flash hiders or other recoil altering things, and you can change the upper handguard to be a bunch of different materials. We can go for Fallout 4 handmade rifle spec with the metal on the top there. That's kind of cool. And you can change the grip as well, just a pistol grip. Do whatever you want. We'll put a polymer one on because that looks more comfortable. It doesn't reduce the weight, but it's pretty negligible weight difference anyway. And you can change the dust cover on these. So let's go for an AKM. Got to make this as abominable as possible. Soak up all of the oh, okay, we got some flash hiders. Interesting. So the muzzle slot and flash hider slot are different. Let's throw in a big RPK muzzle brake. That might help us with the recoil, at least. Interesting. And you can change the paint. Laminated wood, old wood, or solid wood if you feel like it. Yeah, this one looks like it's been made by the operators, actually. That's cool, and I think that pretty much covers it, except for this lower handguard, which you can change to polymer or just different versions of the AK, different variants of the AK you can replace that handguard with. But we'll just go for a standard low one because I like how it's matching with the stock. Alright, that's pretty much it for the AK. Let's move on. The next ones we'll get into are the AK100 series. These are the ones based off the 74M that have been made for export. You'll see this one is actually chambered in the vanilla game 5.56 rounds, which would make it the NATO rounds. So this is an AK101, that's your longer barrel. The 102, same cartridge but a shorter barrel. AK103, heavier cartridge, long barrel. 104, you've got a shorter barrel, same heavy cartridge. And 105 is well, looks like another short barrel and a lighter cartridge. That one appears to be the Russian 5.45, so slightly different to your 5.56s. The backstory behind the AK-101, and players of Fallout 3 remember this. There's a whole Vault-Tec experiment. It's the experiment was, let's put a bunch of AK-101s in Vault 101 and see what happens. And you remember playing Fallout 3. You get a AK-101, you shoot the Radbridge in it at the start of the game. Anyways, you can change the stock on this thing, including this AK-74 skeleton stock, so you can do that. Same thing with the optics. This one already has the mount pre-installed. Muzzles, you've got options for bayonets here. Why not? It will reduce your range because Fallout 4 is weird with balancing like that. We'll go for a black blade, or the handle, so it matches the rest of the rifle. But options for suppressors here, which will give you no range penalties because nominal barrel length is extended. That's kind of cool. And you can change the lower and upper handguard, but honestly, let's just keep this as is. And you can change the dust cover on. Again, flash hiders, there's no options there for anything else. And the grip, sure, throw an M71. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same through all of these, so yeah, you get the idea. Next is your AK-74. This one was a Soviet-made weapon that was used, obviously, during the 70s, and it fires the 5.45 cartridge instead of the big AK-7 something or other, 7.62x39. Yes, that one. So, yeah, this one, you'll find the modifications are pretty similar, so I guess we'll throw the suppressor on, and if we can find a magazine of the drum mag variety, then that would be great. Where's the drum? Okay, there's no drum, but there's this big old casket magazine, so sure, we'll throw that one on. And since this one is going to be stealth status, let's see if we can't change the stocks to be dark. Kind of, yeah, that will go for a black one there. And the rail, yeah, let's throw that one on. Let's throw a scope on this thing as well. This is going to be like super stealthy, and we'll throw a flash hider under there. AK-105. You can't even see it. But handguard, okay, upper. Let's go for this one because I think that looks cool. And lower handguard, find something black. Let's go for, yep, the black one. And the optics, we'll go for this scope. We haven't seen that one yet, so yep, we'll throw that one on. And then we've got the AK-74M, the M4 Modern. Or rather modernized. This one's just slightly improved over the AK-74. So yeah, it's pretty much the same customization thing. So, except we can change the barrel length on this thing. Cool. Shortened barrels obviously will give you a penalty for range, but this AK-105 doesn't have any range penalties at all. So that's a little more customization than what you'd see. And it's got an AK-100 series stock. That's cool. Let's make it a skeleton stock. Because, you know, it was just Halloween just before. So, you know, may as well make note of that. And we'll go for drum magazine somewhere. Nope, casket it is. That's fine. Look, I think you get the idea on this thing. Going back a generation, this is an AKM, pretty much a modernized version of an AK-47, was developed around the 1950s, still firing the heavy 7.62 cartridge, but this one was succeeded by your, you can shorten the barrel, by your AK-74s, so there you go. We'll throw that barrel on because for some reason it reduces the weight. No, it didn't. You can actually tell what years this is made. So this is a early production model and mid to late production model, and you can shorten that barrel a little bit. A little bit more customization. Let's throw a big RPK stock on this thing. Why not? And the magazine, there's my drum. Finally found one. And we don't need sights on this thing. We've got a drum. We don't have to worry about accuracy too much. And that's pretty much it for this one. I think there's nothing really new here. Next one is an AKM-S. The S is Russian for folding. It's some Russian word, but it's got a folding stock. That's the main takeaway here. And obviously the customization is going to be slightly different on the stock. Which texture or model do you want? I'll let you decide. This one's an M70, so we'll say that one a little bit later, but yeah, you pretty much know what's going on here, so we'll move on. This next one is an AKs74, which is like an AK-74, but it's got a folding stock. You can see it right there. Does this feel like bloat to you? I mean, you could easily just swap out the stocks and add an S into your weapon's name, can't ya? I think we're pushing it here. And as we're getting into the M70s, this is the Yugoslavian version of the AK-47, the, shall we say, legally ambiguous ones. I don't think they had the contract to make these, but that didn't stop them. So, yep, it's like an AK, but Yugoslavian. You can tell the shape is a little bit off. This isn't real Russian stuff. This is slightly different. So this is the B2. This is B1. B2 appears to have a folding stock, and there's some customization here. You can shorten the barrel on it if you want. So sure, we'll do that. We haven't done that just yet. And you can put a drum magazine on, as well as a few other variants of magazine. Bayonets, you can throw them on. We'll do that. And grips, you can change them, just like a lot of the others that we've seen. Rails, you can equip some on, but we're not going to throw any optics on this one. We'll just keep the standard irons, and you can change the upper handguard to a greater if you feel like it. The lower handguard cannot be modified. And the paint, let's paint it green. A little bit different. And the B2, pretty much the same deal, but obviously the stock's different because this one's the folding variant, but the same thing goes with the magazines and the sights, that which we can't chuck on. Let's throw on, let's say, some rails actually, yeah, that one, and then throw on a reflex sight onto that one, and PSL muzzle brake for good measure. Why not? That's only one steel, we can afford that. And we'll have it painted polymer black. You get the idea? I skipped the AKs74U. This one, obviously, carbine version of the AK-74. This one, AKS, it's got the folding stock, right? So it could be even more compact if you fold that stock back. So you can't do anything with the receivers, the barrels, the stocks. You can alter them slightly. Not that much, though. The magazines, drum mag, please. Not quite. We can put a big casket mag instead. Iron sights, of course, that's usual. Can throw on different suppressors if you feel like it. Rails, you can do that. So we'll throw on another Cobra reflex onto that. And can't do anything with the handguards. The grips will change to an M76. That looks comfortable. And flash hiders, you can change that, and it looks like it's going to have some effect. Let's go for a AK-105, and yeah, we'll put a suppressor on this thing. Next up is the PSL. This one is a Romanian designated marksman rifle, which is similar in mission spec to a SVD, but I think internally this thing's more closely related to the RPK. So this one being our sniper status thing, you can change the receiver. Don't do that though. This AKM receiver, it breaks everything. You can't put a dust cover on that thing. It just busts. So don't do that. The barrel, obviously, as is going to stay. Can't change the stock. The magazine stuck at 10 rounds. It's got a PSO scope on by default. Let's not remove that, although you can if you feel like it, if you want to use iron sights, but nah, not on this thing. You can throw on a suppressor if you feel like it. That's pretty good. 660 damage, very nice. Can't do anything with the lower hand guard, unfortunately. We'll throw on a flash hider or something. Is there any of these? That one. Apparently it's going to reduce our accuracy. This one, throw the muzzle brake on. Maybe that'll help our recoil control. And we can change this to be painted black, but this camera looks kind of cool, I guess. Bit of Gobi Desert Sniper Rifle in that from Follett New Vegas. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. And yep, that's it for the PSL. Next, we've got an RPK. It's a longer version of an AK-47. See the longer barrel. And the internals have been beefed up and the barrel is a bit stronger so it can go under sustained fire for a little bit longer. It's pretty much just an LMG variant and a very cool weapon. I do quite like the RPK, so we'll have a quick look at what this thing can do. Obviously, barrels and receivers, can't change those, but a drum magazine, very fitting for a light machine gun variant of weapon. We'll go for a PBS suppressor on this thing, 207 damage now, thanks to Ace Operator, and we'll go for this pistol grip. Why not? Rails, we'll throw one on, and let's throw a scope on this thing. Find optics somewhere around here. Let's go for a PSO on this one. Excellent. And we can change... No, we can't change the handguards. The lower one. The upper one, we can put on damn whatever we want. So let's go for this one. I keep doing that, but it looks cool, so sue me. And yeah, we'll just leave the flash hider as is. You can't even see it anyway. That's our RPK. And of course, you've got RPK-74 firing the lighter cartridge here with the 545 millimeter. 545. 545 millimeters. Big bullets. Enough to, you know, destroy the Mujahideen, or rather the Mujahideen could shoot your attack helicopters with them, and that'll make it work. Anyways, we'll throw on a bigger magazine on this one. The 60 rounds have iron sights. Suppressor, we'll leave off this one. Obviously less damage thanks to the smaller bullets, but maybe the recoil is going to be easy to control. We'll throw in an AKM dust cover just to sow confusion in our enemies who discover this thing hasn't got the right matching dust cover. And then we'll throw on a different version of a handguard upper variant. That one looks kind of cool. Now, options for stocks are seemingly limited, actually. Interesting. Here's your Type 56. Again, it's your Chinese assault rifle variant of your AK. This one, slightly different. You can change it into a normal AK, but this one has already got that bayonet mounted. Can I point the bayonet at my enemies and not at myself, please? There we go. That's pretty much all I want to do with this thing, because, I mean, what else could I do? Maybe I could throw on a muzzle brake for recoil control, but yeah, you can change the handguards to pretty much everything we've seen already. The upper handguards, it can be changed, and I believe the stocks can be altered, maybe. Yep, there we go. Let's change it to an AK. Doesn't match, but don't you worry, you won't be able to see that in first person, or maybe you'll just. We could cover it by paint. There we go. That's Disciple spec black paint on your AK. And you know what? A knife on the end of it, Disciple spec as well. So sure, that works. And last but not least, it's the Zastava M76. Yes, another Yugoslavian AK variant. If you ask Mum for a Dragunov and she says we've got a Dragunov at home, she means this. It's not quite right, but it serves the same role, the same purpose. A long barrel firing the full-powered cartridges, the 7.62 by 54 millimeters, which is slightly bigger than your standard AK bullets. The customization options very barren. We'll keep the PSO scope because it makes sense. Bayonet on a sniper, no, don't want to lose range on this thing, so we'll just paint it cool camo colors and we'll call it a day. Anyways, that's all of our AKs. Hopefully I've got enough hotkeys to actually use this. All of these guns are injected onto the leveled list. You might find all of them, you might find some, or you might find none at all. But yep, that's a significant amount of bloat onto leveled lists. You'll probably find that a lot of gunners might be dropping these AK variants as we shoot them. So pay close attention if you want. You might be able to see them drop in real game, real time. Okay, we're finally here. Welcome to Gunners Plaza. Here is our AK in first person. This one has a suppressor. It's got the Cobra reflex sight, drum magazine. And it sounds like that when you shoot. It's got a reload animation in first person and in third person in turn as well. Yep, looks pretty good. And I'd love to hotkey these things, but the problem is there's just far too many weapons. So we'll have a quick look at our AK-10 something. This one's got a bayonet. You can poke things with it if you feel like it. And that's what it sounds like unsuppressed. Not the most pleasant sound, really. We'll just adjust the volume down a little bit and we'll see how we go. That sounds a little bit better. This one, RPK with the magazine suppressor and PSO, which is a nice see-through scope. Very cool. I wish the crosshair was black though, because it's very hard to spot in amongst things. Also, we're back in Summer Commonwealth because the thing was broken. Anyway, so we want our PSL because we'll start off with a little bit of sniping. So this fake-ass Dragunov, we'll see what she can do. Just a terrible weapon. It can't hit anything. Definitely not my fault. Let's focus here. We need to lock in, as the kids say. Everyone make way. Well, that did pretty well. And if we actually focus on hitting our targets, it's actually a fairly reliable, decent weapon. And if we can take out these pesky bugs, there you are, you spinning little bastard. Found you. Now go back to shooting normally.
Yeah.
I suppose we'll milk this sniping for as much as we can before we get into actual things. Yeah, I feel like I can't see the sight. I'm just having trouble centering the crosshair a little bit, I think. It's nothing compared to the VC32 from Killzone, that's for sure. Anyways, it's time to take it to him. Let's go. We shouldn't have too much problems. We're seeing plenty of damage out of this thing. And the rate of fire is actually pretty high. If you looked closely at the rate of fire stats, it would have been higher than normal, because normally this game gives you, what, a fire rate over 10 seconds or something as a rating. But I've actually changed it to rounds per minute. Now, I think in real life, the AKs fire at a rounds per minute of around 600 to 650 normally, and we're actually hitting way above that. This one feels closer.
Yeah.
I'll switch over now. We'll go to AK-102, short barreled. Why not do a little bit of VATS with it? You'd think having a shorter barrel, easy to maneuver, slightly better VATS usage or whatever, but yeah. Now, I've never shot a Kalashnikov in real life, but if the sights look like this, like, how do they even hit anything? Maybe they're easier to utilize in real life, but normally video games open up the iron sight some so you can actually see through it. You look at, for example, all of the old Battlefield games. That's a laser RCW up there. All the old Battlefield games, the sights used to be right open for you to see through. And perhaps it's more realistic this way, but I prefer video games to be, I wouldn't say easier, but less, I like my iron sights to be able to see through easier. Is that a crime? Maybe. And here, I can call it now. There's Ivan in the chat chirping me for not liking the Russian iron sights. Well, guess what, Ivan? They suck. Anyways, we'll call a couple more with these AK-10 something variants. Please stop shooting at me. There we go. And we'll move on to this last one. A couple of kills from this thing. We're back in a nerd rage, and before we finish with our nerd rage, let's use this one. This is a perfect weapon to utilize against these longer reaching targets. This one is the different, is that a sniper knockdown? That was, for an automatic rifle, no less. Good news. Anyway, so this is the other scope variant, which I like the crosshair a lot better. This must be of Western design because, you know, the person that made it knew what they were doing. Also, it's sitting directly over the iron sights. The PSO was a little bit off. I suppose the Russians like it canted because they're a bunch of backward savages. Let's go for AK-74M. This one, reflex sight, will be nice and open for us. We'll actually be able to see what we're shooting at. So we'll take advantage of that. Very nice. And with a cheap little level up, we can move on to our AKM, which will hip fire since I'm allergic to the iron sights on this thing. We've barely even scratched the surface with these things because there's still like, I don't know, maybe 10 more AK variants I haven't gone through, but I don't know, are they all the same? Are you getting your money's worth in this video? Or your time's worth? You're not paying to watch me. Do you want to see more? Or do you think all of these AKs are the same? I don't know, I'll let you decide. But it works. Also, we're using Newer Mind's Recon suit. The goggles on this thing have changed. This is actually Kira's goggles, my follower, with glow maps there. We're going for like Helgar sniper variant. We just needed a cape. That's all we needed. But, nah. No capes. Okay, so next we'll shoot the Swan with our RPK. This should be fairly decently easy. I mean, we've got a longer barrel on this thing. It's firing the heavy cartridge. We're just not going to be able to get any sneak criticals because they're all currently engaged. But that should change shortly. That was a sniper knockdown on an automatic rifle, which means there's probably no auto keywords, which is interesting because that probably means that we're using the rifleman perks or something, which means in turn we're getting lots of armor penetration when normally that wouldn't happen. That's some nice cartwheel in there, Swan. He's been launched off the side of the map. Actually, we should probably keep an eye on him because he might disappear. Whatever he was shooting at, I'm not sure what. He actually might get stuck out there. He would have hit the very edges of the map there, I think. Anyways, we'll keep on hitting him because, you know, why not? For some reason, this weapon's hitting him with physics enough to make him cartwheel out of control over and over, and I'm not sure why that's happening. But as expected, this thing very strong playing that stealth commando role. Obviously, that being able to knock him down with the sniper thing, 'cause that was icing on the cake. But yeah, we didn't really advance through many of our weapon variants there. So let's do that now. Let's go back. PSL. Wait, no, never mind. We've seen this one. Let's go for a Type 56. Huh. I kind of expected more out of my bayonet. Also, the sights on this one, the front side, it's in a circle. So I guess it's protected or something. By the way, it is Lily under this. See? I took the goggles and the hood off and it almost works. The paint's a little bit off over the left cheek there. Left cheek! Transformers reference. Okay, we're using the Zastava M76 or something, and I've got no ammo for this thing. Okay. Except I do. But then I don't. I'm missing the required ammo. What's happening here? I do have the ammo, don't I? Right? Never mind, we're just going to use a short-barreled AK. Take that. Bloody mantis. So apparently this one fires super fast, which is pretty good news. And we'll hit him up with this. We'll use some of this glorious VATS that we've got going for us, and then keep going. You notice how we've got the targeting HUD lighting this guy up. Okay, what I think I should do is get like a high capacity thing to just keep on shooting at him for days. Yeah, that one works. And oh, nope, nope, nope. I got out of that kill animation? Well, that's weird. I think I dodged right at the moment. Nope. Go away from me. Get away from me. Yes, we successfully hit under him. Now I've got no AP left. We squirmed out of his grip. That worked. Okay, now that that AK is out, let's go over to this one. Why not? And finish him off just like that. Okay, which ones haven't I used yet? I don't think I've used this AKS yet, so sure. Let's find something to shoot at with it, and we'll take your bottle caps, thank you, with your rapid grenade launcher. Pretty sure that's instigating. Weird. Okay, well, let's move on. Also, this is the goggles that comes with the mod, so that's why we got the targeting thing. Also, Lily's head clips through the hood somehow. Okay, this one is an AK-74. I think I've actually used this one though, but I like the scope, so whatever, we'll keep going. And with all of this glorious glowing people that I can shoot at, I feel like it's a pretty good idea, so... Oh, damn it. Oh, I was hoping to get on that roof. It didn't work out for me. Okay. What else have we got here in our little bag of tricks? Let's try this one. Why not? Bring it on, Raiders. This one has a pretty high fire rate. That's pretty helpful, I guess. You know, a little bit better DPS, but yeah, these guys are only small fish because what lurks around the corner, well, you can see it. Go. Nice little critical there. I don't know if you can hear this, but there is a looping of the weapons echo that's playing in the background, and that might be from shooting one of these rifles. But yeah, that's gonna get on my nerves as I keep going, so try to wrap this up nice and fast. So obviously, against vanilla game stuff, you're not gonna have any problems with this thing whatsoever at any time, considering what it just did to your Milet Queen over there. But let's see what we can do. Let's see. What could we do here that we haven't done already, I guess? I guess we could use... Let's use some of the heavier hitting ones. We'll go for an AK-103 with a big drum. And then we'll hit him in the head some. Good RNG. And then we'll spam these criticals in his face. We've got the mysterious stranger to show up at a pretty inopportune moment there, I might add. Because he ruined all my sneak criticals, and now he's on his way. I feel like they should have seen me at this point. Alright, now it's on, for real. And I'll just, not dodge that because I got stuck in a little ditch. Ah, mysterious stranger again. Good. I think he's got his entire revolver to unload on that thing. Although that one seemed to hit the carapace because he did basically nothing there. Okay, I need something with a bayonety pokey stick. I'll call upon you, Type 56. Lacking that rate of fire too, that's helping me out immensely. Every now and then, get a big stagger on him. Ooh. I actually used a critical in that bash attack there. That worked out pretty well. And we got a Junkie's light grenade launcher. What is with this game and dropping grenade launchers? At least the legendary effect is correct, I suppose, but... Okay, I think you get the idea. So that was AKs and AR15s Fallout 4 edition, but just focused on the AKs. Obviously, I'll have to come back to look at the AR15 side on this thing, but it's an interesting mod because a lot of these weapons and some modders have already sort of taken this to its conclusion. It's like they're pretty much the same thing, which sure, again, it's realistic, but it just means there's a whole bunch of bloat and extra variants that don't really do much different than the one next to it. So, yeah, a lot of them are doing very similar things. So, unless you're like a real fan of AKs, you might find that that there's different mods out there that do AKs a little bit more in line with what the vanilla game does with the AKs, and the fact that it'll allow you to customize one to a specific role rather than having like 10 different variants that would fulfill similar roles. So, an interesting little bit of mod philosophy there. Until I use the AR-15 side, I won't make my judgment call yet. But if you are interested in seeing this weapon in your game, or these weapons, this weapon mod, download the link in the description. If there's an Xbox variant, there should be. But this mod itself is a couple of gig worth of stuff, of data, so you'll have to be heavily truncated on your Xbox or your console variants to actually make this work. So if I can find one, I can, but if there isn't any, I'll be providing an alternative, something that I would recommend instead. But thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.